Welcome to Fortified Training, your one-stop injury prevention shop for soccer players and fans alike. Injuries are an unfortunate part of the beautiful game, but they're far less likely to occur when you increase what your body is capable of doing. The best way to do that is effective strength training. My name is Ryan. I wish I knew way more about effective strength training before I got injured. I'm here to make sure you get ahead of your injuries before they occur and bounce back faster if they do. In this video, we're talking about hip CARs. Let's get started. CAR stands for controlled articular rotation. Effectively, that means isolating a joint, moving it through its complete range of motion without moving anything else. We're going to demonstrate that to you. Then we're going to clean up a few things and then show you how to do it in other positions. When we teach hip CARs, I would recommend standing, holding on to something, and I'm going to work my right leg to start. So as if I was sitting in a meeting, I'm going to cross one ankle over the opposite knee and then close my legs. So my thigh is really close to the opposite one. Then I'm going to lift that leg up, preserve the angle of my shin so my foot stays high. Open my legs so I'm pointing my knee to the side, rotate my foot up to the ceiling behind me, and then take that foot out the windows as my legs come closer together. I finish with my knees side by side. That's halfway. Now I reverse. I go backwards. I go out to the side, lifting my foot and knee to the ceiling. Then I rotate so my foot comes underneath, and then I bring my leg to point in front of me as my shin comes across my body to my initial starting position. Now when you do this, because we're trying to move a joint through its complete range of motion, everything else is going to start moving. So now let's do one more, and we're going to check on how our body is compensating in order to avoid those things. So in this position, let's start and first make sure that we're standing up nice and tall. Your bottom leg, your post leg, stays straight at the knee. And then when I bring this leg up in front of me, here, let's make sure that I haven't hiked my opposite hip to get there. Keeping that foot up nice and tall. I'm going to turn and point my leg out to the side. And when I do that, let's make sure that your whole torso doesn't rotate. Bottom leg still, torso square. Just point your knee out to the side. Then I'm going to twist my foot up behind me and point my foot out the windows. When I do that, let's make sure that we're not sticking your belly out to get there. So torso stays still. If you looked at me from the side, you wouldn't see my chest come any closer to the rack as I go backwards. And then the same thing in reverse. Stand up nice and tall, reach backwards, don't spill your gut forward, out to the side, bring your knee up to your armpit, rotate your foot under, make sure your chest is still square, and then come across your body and finish with your foot high, calf on the opposite knee. To help you reinforce some of these cues, I would recommend taking a squat rack and then standing really, really close to it by hugging on with both arms. So I'm going to work the outside hip here, and now you're going to notice how difficult this really is for me because my hip CAR, now that I've isolated it, is going to be a lot smaller in comparison with freestanding. That's my starting position. Watch how less I can move in comparison. That's because everything else that I was doing before is the rest of my body compensating to help my hip try to move through a more complete range of motion. So we got to teach it to you first, show you the errors, and then show you how not to err. Now that we have all three of those, we can show you a couple different versions of hip CARs that bias different muscle groups. The first of which is seated. Your seated hip CAR is going to bias internal rotation a little bit more because when you move this way, now we're placing a lot of demand on these muscles on the outer hip. And it can be a lot more difficult to crank your body back into this position because now you're internally rotated, abducted, and hopefully extended. So I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see this. I'm working the leg that's closest to you. If this is difficult for you, feel free to place your hands on the floor, but try to do this without. Knees apart, feet are together. Raise your foot, keep your knee close to the ground. Then rotate, foot goes underneath, inside of knee, inside of the foot towards the floor. Then I'm going to go backwards by reaching my foot behind me and pointing my knee more towards you. Then I'm going to reverse. Outside of the ankle, outside of the knee comes towards the ground. When I do that facing you, you're going to notice how much I lean away. So when we do this, let's try to be nice and upright and stay upright in order to do that same exact movement. By reaching my arms this way, I'm creating a little more counterbalance. It's helpful. It's also a little more difficult. Next, we're going to do a hip CAR that biases the muscles in front of you. And I'm going to take this towel and put it on the bottom of my foot. Then I'm going to try to keep that towel there as I roll towards you. So this is a hip car on a straight leg for the top leg. I'm gonna roll towards you, keep the leg vertical, maintain the position of the towel. And then as I run out of room, I'm gonna slowly bend my knee, expose the bottom of my foot to the ceiling, kind of smush my bottom arm, and then reverse. Lift my back foot up, roll onto your back, straighten the top leg, and I'm back to that same position. Watch one more time. As I roll towards you, I'm trying to keep this leg vertical. If you're really good, you can do this with a yoga block, and it's gonna stay flat on the bottom of your foot. My leg is straight as long as possible. I bend when I absolutely need to. Onto my belly. I know your bottom arm doesn't really have a good place to go. Know that I know that. Here, lift your thigh off the ground. Straighten your leg as soon as possible. And bring that foot up towards your face in a bit of a hamstring stretch. Your final way to do a hip car is side lying. And I would suggest a yoga block or something for a pillow because you're gonna be there for a little while. And then to bring both your knees forward towards your chest, as if you're sitting in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Then both arms go forward, and in this side lying position, I'm gonna work my top leg. Let's do this together. I'm gonna bring my knee directly towards my elbow. Once it's there, I'm gonna move along my tricep here, along my arm, towards my armpit, keeping my knee up towards my armpit the entire time. Then I'm gonna rotate, that's internal hip rotation. My foot goes behind me. I'm trying to keep that knee up towards my armpit. And as my foot goes out the window, I'm now gonna bring my knee towards the floor and then march it all the way back up to my starting position. And then I can reverse. Top leg going backwards, reaching my foot out the windows. Then keeping my shin horizontal, I'm gonna raise my leg, make sure that foot goes up with you. Rotate so your knee comes up towards your armpit as the foot comes forward, and then go along your tricep, find your elbow, and now you're back to your starting position. Now that you know how to do a side lying hip car, we're gonna take a tennis ball and put it behind your knee on the working leg in order to bias the muscles on the back of that thigh. Same starting position, and without dropping the tennis ball, I'm gonna bring my top knee up towards my elbow, squeezing the tennis ball, take my knees apart, and then I'm gonna internally rotate so my foot goes behind me, keeping my knee up towards the ceiling, and then drop that knee down towards the ground. Still squeeze my tennis ball. I can really feel my hamstring now. And then march my knee back up to my starting position. Keeping the tennis ball behind your knee, go backwards in reverse. When you run out of room, take that knee up towards the ceiling. Externally rotate so your foot comes forward. Bring your knee up towards your armpit. Don't lose that tennis ball. And then once you're up by your armpit, go along your tricep and then back to your starting position. And with as much tension as you can put on that tennis ball, now we're biasing muscles on the back of the thigh in that same hip car. When we do hip cars, we're trying to emphasize control over range of motion. And in order for that control to be exerted, we need to do these things slowly. So make sure when you do each of these car variations for your hips, we're moving at a very slow pace. And don't be afraid to really max out as you practice more and more, because the more range of motion you can expose your body to, the better prepared you're gonna be for different positions that you need to access on the field. That's it for hip cars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram for more free content. I'm there every single week. And check out the practice for injury prevention strength training workout programs. Your workout is waiting for you.